floor is for Connie. Thanks, Connie.
Yay! Thank you. I'm delighted to be here and really honored that Tessa and Francoise invited me. So today what we're going to be talking about is we're talking about authenticity within the workplace. And what I would like to share is a 7-step module, a 7-step formula that I've created that will help you learn how to truly be authentic and express the truth of who you are within the workplace. Wouldn't that really be amazing? That would be really, really amazing, just to be who you are without the pressure, without expectations, the freedom of just being you. Wouldn't that be amazing? Really, really amazing. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you just for 1 minute, to the person sitting next to you, 2s or 3s, depending on the dynamic, just share with them, what question do you have? What question do you have about tonight's talk? Because it's important that you open up and you ask a quality question. And this is a great technique, a great tool. Always start the day off, always start everything off with a quality question so that your soul can give you the answer. If you're just listening, that's great. Absolutely, there's no right, there's no wrong, I tell my clients. No right, no wrong, just that which is in alignment with your soul and that which isn't. So, what are you hoping to get out of tonight's talk? What question do you have? So you have 50 seconds remaining. What is your question? Go. Okay, so how to be authentic within the workplace. 7 steps. 7 steps. Step number 1, okay, let me take a step back. Why do I say 7 steps? Because I've created a program called Thrive. Thrive being who you are rather than just existing. So what we do is we really just exist in life. I kind of see it as like a zombie or a mummy. This is how we're walking. You know, we're not conscious, we're not present most of the time. We just go to work, come back, go to work, come back, fetch the kids, drop them off, go here, you know, make the husband food, blah, 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 same thing. You just like, brrr. So the heart of what I do is to try and help people thrive in their authenticity, thrive being who they are. And that's an acronym for the steps. Yes, Thrive is 6 letters, and it's a 7-step process, I know. But H has 2 steps. H has 2 steps. So that's what I'm going to be sharing. So T in Thrive. T stands for trust. And this is the first and most important step. You'll see that maybe you're in the first step, maybe in the 7th, maybe you flow in amongst all of them. But trust is really important. And the first thing is always, do you trust yourself? Do you think that it is okay for you to be authentic, or do you not trust that authentic part of you? One of the reasons why we aren't authentic is because we think that the authentic part of us is not good enough. So we don't trust ourselves. And if you don't trust yourself to be good enough, then you can't even begin to explore how to even be authentic. So it's important to ask yourself the question, do I trust that I have what it takes? And a lot of people don't think that they do have what it takes. If we're being honest, every single one of us has moments when we think, I don't want to be authentic because then people will find out that I'm actually a fake or I'm actually not good enough. And this is our journey, is just to be in awareness when we're at that space and to take a step back and to say, I do trust myself. I do. So when you trust yourself, that's great. That's really important. But do you trust the people around you to be authentic? Or are the people around you naysayers? You know, people who are like, don't do that. Of course you can't do that. You're living in this like negative work environment where even if you think, yeah, of course, I'm good enough, I'm going to have a good day, you get to work and your boss is just pushing you down and you're just feeling like, I can't do anything. That's not a very trustworthy, not a very supportive environment. So we'll get to what you do in a not supportive environment. But ladies, the point is that if you don't have a supportive environment, how do you feel safe? We need to feel safe to be able to express our authenticity. There is no ways that you're going to go into the workplace and express your authenticity if you know that it's not safe to do so. So the first question to ask yourself is, do I feel safe? Do I trust myself? And the second question is, how can you create a safer environment? What does that look like? Have a chat to these amazing girls at the end of the workshop. Chat to me. This is so important. How do you create a safe space? Maybe your work isn't a safe space. But then maybe we need to create a safe space at home. Maybe home isn't safe because your partner's not supportive. How do you be authentic if you're not getting supported by anyone around you? You are a human being and you need support. How do you create that safe space? It may be you are on your own right now. What can you do to make you feel safe? And that's what's important. The most important step. And some of us get stuck on step number 1, and that's okay, because it's important to feel safe. Step number 2 is the H, the first H, which stands for hone in on awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness of all the boxes that we have created. So, a little bit of theory. What I believe is that when we're born, we're this perfect, amazing human being who is authentic. You're this baby, you're this 1-year-old, this 2-year-old. You're an authentic expression. You're running around, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're loving what you see, you're curious, you're positive. Life is about positivity and curiosity. And then mom says, don't do that. Dad says, don't do that. Mom says, you have to do this. Dad says, you have to do that. Society starts telling you who you should be. Question number 2, how much of who you are today is an authentic expression of you, or how much of who you are today is society's creation of who you should be? We are a creation of society. The clothes we wear, the accents that we have, the things that we say, the way we act in work. You get to work, let's say you've got all these creations from society, and then you get to work and there's a work culture that you have to conform to. So we're constantly living in a space where we feel we have to fit into a box. And it's like, okay, what box do I need to fit into? I have to be accepted. This is what we innately feel. I have to be accepted. So what box am I going to fit? Okay, in this group, I have to fit into this box. In this group, I have to fit into this box. In this group, this box. Who am I? My clients always ask me, I don't know who I am, Connie. Who am I? No one knows who they are because for their whole lives, they've been told who they have to be. So at work, you're told who you have to be, what you have to wear, how you need to act. Where is the freedom for you to feel safe to explore? If you don't conform to the work culture, you probably get fired. Maybe not so much in France, but you will get fired or shunned, or there's negative repercussions for not fitting into that box. So where is the safety? The power is in step number 2, which is the awareness of what the boxes are. Give yourself permission without judgment to just start looking at what boxes. If you saw my post today on the Facebook group, I said, just be in awareness of where you are giving yourself up today. Where are you doing things that you don't actually want to do, but you have to do because you're expected of it by work, by society, by your family, by your kids, by your husband? What are the boxes? That's the power, guys. What are the boxes? Step number 2 is hone in on acceptance. Hone in on acceptance. Why I say acceptance is, did you mean to take on this box? Not necessarily. When you were young, you took on all these boxes because you were scared of not being approved of. So every thought you have, every belief system that you have, was created when you were 0 to 7, I believe. And you're just living a defensive, a scared young child's belief system because they wanted to be accepted. So they thought, in order to never feel that pain again, I'm going to fit into this box. So acceptance and allowing and love. When you react, when you act in the box, you're that young child, that scared young child who actually just wants to be accepted. I believe that we all are just young girls just wanting to be loved and wanting to be accepted. You know, when we do something wrong at work and we get moaned at or chastised or someone looks at us funny, we're just little girls who just want to be told that we're good enough. So why judge yourself for any feeling that you have? Why judge yourself for any feeling that you have? You have a bad day. We are human. Part of the human experience is that we will have bad days. A bit far out there, my right brain is, but I believe that we are a spiritual being having a human experience versus a human being having a spiritual experience. And that what that means is that our soul has chosen to experience all that it means to be human, which is emotions, which is the box. We want to figure out how to be the authentic expression of who we are in this lifetime. And if we deny ourselves, if we deny our emotions, if you're feeling upset, you're genuinely feeling upset and there's a reason. But when we push our emotions down, are we being authentic? So, something happens to you, you're having a bad day, you go to work. I want to authentically express that I'm having a bad day. Can I do that?
Good question.
Can I do that? It might be safe to do that. Different corporate cultures are safe. You might be able to say, guys, I'm having a really bad day, just leave me alone. Or, I understand, but please don't speak to me like that. I'm not feeling in a very vulnerable place. It is for you to decide where the balance of, can I actually express that I'm not feeling okay? Imagine saying to your boss, I'm not feeling okay, I've had a bad day, I've had a bad morning, blah, 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 whatever the case may be is, I just need you to, in order to feel safe, I need to, I just need you to not have this conversation with me right now, we can have it tomorrow. You know, playing around with things like that. But the power again comes with not denying your emotion, but expressing it as much as you can within the box of that which is expected. Something else people say to me all the time, they say, oh yeah, Connie, that's so nice, airy fairy, express yourself, be authentic, blah, blah, blah. But we live in a real world We live in a real world where we have to make money. You know, we have the corporate culture that we have the family. This is real, guys. We live in a real world. We are human. We have human bodies. So the journey is, here's the box, okay, that I have to fit into. I can't necessarily now, tomorrow, throw that box away. But what I can potentially do is take my light and maybe find some cracks so that my light can flow through the box until it is safe enough for me to let that box go. An easy example is clothing. You have to wear a suit, or you have to dress smartly. Let's say you have to wear a suit to work. You could wear a black suit with a pink shirt underneath, or a pink necklace, or a pink scarf. You're still bringing some of your personality and your authenticity within the box. You may not want to wear a suit, but right now your human expression is that you have to wear a suit. So this is an analogy. Generalize it to wherever you feel that you want to express your authenticity. So the question is, how, and this is a conversation we can discuss afterwards. Come chat to me, chat to everyone here. You're divinely brought together because you guys can support each other in this. Talk to each other, say, this is my box. How do I let my light shine through this box? How do I be a little bit more of who I truly am through this box? Without judgment. The moment we have a box, and this is mind-blowing. The moment we think we have to fit into a box, we think that anything other than that box is not correct, is not okay. Guys, you will never fit into the boxes that society has created for you, because those boxes are a creation of your own mind. So when you fit into the box that you have created for yourself, there will be another bigger, different version of the same thing. Because your boxes are a projection of that which you think the world should look like. Who am I? You are not the box. The box is the mind. The box is the mind. Who you truly are comes from the soul, comes from the gut. Whatever you believe, I believe that we have a soul. And that soul is connected to a higher source, to God, to spirit, to whatever you call it. Some people even say it's the gut feeling. That connection that you have to the truth. And how often do we give ourselves permission to listen to that still voice that is only found in the present moment? How often do you live in the present moment, even now? What are you thinking of? Are you comparing that which I'm saying to something from the past, that's happened in the past, that you thought of, that was created within the past? Or are you thinking about what I'm saying, projecting it onto the fear of the future? Or are you just sitting and listening from that open space that's still present in the moment, asking the question, what can I learn? How can I truly be authentic? Are we opening ourselves to experiencing life in the present moment? Or do we live in the past and we live in the future? Emotion, anger, resentment, all comes from the past. You don't feel angry in the present. You only feel angry because what somebody did reminded you of something that happened in the past that links to a feeling of not being good enough. Fear is in the future, which is a fear that you won't be accepted. So how can I be authentic in the future in my workplace? Because I'm scared that if I am, I will be rejected. I won't be good enough, but you haven't even tried. You haven't asked yourself in the present moment, okay, well, you guys have because you're here. So you're doing the exploration. But again, the power is in the present moment. Which leads me to R, which is release. Release and forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself for being human. Whenever you have a bad day, whenever you're not authentic, you're just human, guys. You're reacting to the past, to a scared child. You know, we don't want to judge that. We want to support that child. Give them the love that they want. Forgive our parents. They did the best that they knew how. Didn't they? They also came from a heritage of the same belief systems. When you forgive yourself, you forgive everyone, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm releasing everything that isn't authentic. That's the question. How can I start releasing inauthenticity in my life? What are you left with? Nothing. You're left with your authenticity. Imagine coming to this space every moment of every day. That would be amazing. We're still human. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe working our way up to 20 minutes a day. But being in your workplace and thinking, past, okay, future, present. How do I really feel right now? I'm upset. Okay, this wasn't okay for me. This person actually stepped over a boundary for me. And you know what? I'm human, I got upset, but what they did was not okay. And then you can express from a space of that wasn't okay versus anger, fear. There's a very different energy. The one is a reaction from your mind, from your conditioning, and the other is an expression from your inner power, your inner authenticity, that this is not okay for you. Whatever that is. You know, that's another thing to discuss. What was not okay for you? And standing up for yourself. How often in the day do you give yourself up? Giving yourself up simply means putting yourself into a box that you did not want to be in. Consciously or unconsciously. We do it all the time unconsciously, guys. That's okay. That's where the allowing and the forgiveness comes in. But the power is when you are in awareness, can you say, I'm sorry, but I do not want to give myself up? Once a day, to start off with. Just once a day, moving forward from this talk. Take one step to not give yourself up. That's one step towards living an authentic workplace, living authentically in your workplace. And I is invent. I is invent. And you are in this space for the rest of your life. Sorry guys, you're in this space for the rest of your life, because what happens is you're born this authentic, beautiful spark, and then all these onion layers get pushed on top of you. So you're just an onion layer, like a big fat onion with all these different layers, and your authenticity is in the middle. And you just need to peel off one layer every day. just start to see a little bit of light. You're not going to tomorrow, boom, open up and I'm this authentic expression of who I am. But you are going to start seeing a little bit of that light when you step in your power, in the awareness of what boxes are you living in. And V is vibrancy. Vibrancy of life. Oh my God, we are so serious. So serious. Everything is such a drama. You know? Like, drama. First world problems. Yes, okay, they do upset us, and yes, we're human, and yes, we allow it, I get it. But bring back the magic. Bring back the fun, bring back the laughter, bring back the joy. That can only be found when you're living in the stillness of the present moment. Because when you're in the past, you're too caught up in the anger and the resentment and the I should haves. By now I should have done this. By now I should have been in this place in my career. By now I should have. By now I should have. Past, judgment. Or the future, you know, all the fear and the anxiety. In a present moment, we're connecting. Divinely connecting to someone. When was the last time you looked into the eyes of your colleagues and authentically had a conversation? I don't want to look in your eyes for longer than 2 seconds, because then you're going to see something in me that I'm trying to hide, which is a belief system that who I am authentically is not good enough. The person who you do not like the most is the person you need to look in their eyes for the longest to really connect with that person authentically. And communicate with your eyes, communicate with your soul, not with the reactive ego mind. Wow. So, tomorrow, 3 seconds longer. Just look into people's eyes for that little bit longer. The person who irritates you the most challenging, the person who's this. Send me a message and tell me how it went. I'm going to send you all an email, and I would love to hear what awareness comes into your mind when doing that exercise. Looking at people in their eyes, looking at yourself in your own eyes in the mirror. All the boxes you ever want to know about yourself, just look at yourself in the mirror. You'll see all the boxes you think you should belong to. Any comparison, colleague, I'm not good enough, they're better. Wow, box, that's what I need to fit into. Okay, where are you? You're not that box, and they are not that box either, because they're feeling the same as you. So how do you authentically communicate at work? Remembering that everyone is struggling to be authentic at work because they're just covering up. They're just very good at the box. They've just got a nice little bow on it and maybe decorated it because they've been living in the box for that much longer. But that's not who they authentically are. It's kind of relieving to know that everyone's the same. Everyone's the same. So we're going to love life. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to start singing in the shower more. Singing. You know, when you were a little girl, what did you do that you loved? And when was the last time that you did it? It's to love skipping. I want to skip down the street. Never going to happen in Paris. But wouldn't that be freeing? What skipping?
This happens sometimes.
I might get picked up to be taken away. But oh my gosh, like if you were to skip, what looks would you, because that's not a box. So the point is, how are we giving ourselves up? If you want to sing, sing. If you want to skip, skip. Let that inner child come out. The last time you were authentic was when you were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How can you start expressing more of that in the workplace? That's the conversation. You first need to figure out who you authentically are. One day at a time, one step at a time, which is E. Expand and emancipate. Emancipating is, I'm an awareness of a box. Thank you. I no longer want you. I am choosing to no longer fit into that box. I'm letting go of the chain around my wrist, around my ankle. Emancipating. And then every day, I am expanding from my soul out. I'm expanding more and more of who I am, day by day, step by step. It took me 37 years to fit into this box. Probably going to take me another 37 to get out of the box. I hope it takes me a little bit quicker. But the point is, it took you this long to get into that box. So patience and love, fun, as you just daily ask the question, just today, how can I authentically express more of who I am without giving myself up? And do one thing every day and write it down. Write it down at the end of every day so you start to become aware of, okay, yes, actually I am being more and more authentic. Because otherwise you think you're not making any progress because you don't see the change that you're making, do you? But if you write it down, it's the same with gratitude. Gratitude is vibrancy of life. It lifts the vibration. If you start writing down, I write down 3 things every morning that I'm grateful for. A lot of people do this in the evening, in the morning. Sometimes I have to really think, I don't know what I'm grateful for today. And then eventually it's like, okay, it's my coffee, okay. I have one thing I'm grateful for. But had I not found my coffee, that one thing, I would have really been in a lower place. So my encouragement, if it is your wish and will, is to start taking those steps. Start writing them down. Start thriving, being who you are, and being authentic in the workplace. Have I answered all of your questions? Opened up your mind a bit? Different boxes. Early you were asking the reason why we are authentically ourselves in one place or another. Yeah, we do have different boxes in different places, and maybe you can be more of yourself because you're in less of a box. It's a safer space. With you guys, it's a beautiful, I feel very, very safe. Every time I felt myself during the talk going into a box, I just felt like a safety, like a lack of judgment. And, that box just went. So it was nice to have this safe space to authentically express myself. But had I been in front of another audience, I might have been like, okay, what box do I need to fit into to be accepted by these guys? Everyone has a box. A box is an opinion. I'll never forget this saying. Everyone has an opinion. No. Opinions are like belly buttons. You might have, belly, do you want to see?
Okay. Just check it.
Opinions are like belly buttons. Everyone has one and they all stink. So, What is my interpretation of that box? My interpretation of that box is that there is no truth. Saw that post that I posted the other day? There is no truth. There's no truth, there's no fact. Hear the heart of what I'm saying. No truth, no fact, only opinion and perception. So, which marketing guy do you go with? Which website designer do you go with? You go with the person who is not in the boxes of what you think you should be doing, but you make a decision in the stillness of the moment. What's my authentic why in my business? And you're going to look at that marketing person in their eyes, over the internet maybe, over like their blurb, and you're going to connect with the soul of that person, and you're going to ask, is that person in alignment with my authenticity? It's a very...
I think it's usually the first thought that comes to mind is intuition. Is that
yes.
It's the gut feeling, but then then you start thinking. Okay, you start
exactly.
reasoning.
And what is a thought? 90% of your thoughts are conditioned.
Yeah,
they come from yesterday.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Exactly.
Intuition, Alexa just said. Intuition, gut,
whatever you call
soul.
it.
Yeah. Beautiful. So I've answered your question.
Yeah, and I think what helped me is it's okay if the box is there, but just be aware of the difference between it, because then you can just, it's easier to make a distinction.
There's no right and there's no wrong. We think that there is. But every time we make a decision, we're discovering more about who we are and what we want. And that's really it. That's all that I feel is important in life. Whenever you hear the word should, it's a judgment that who you are in that present moment isn't good enough. But if you change the word should to could, it implies that you are making the choice from your authenticity rather than from the expectation of the box. Powerful. If you do nothing else, every time you hear you saying I should, change it to I could. I could do this to express my authenticity more. You don't have to. You don't have to express yourself authentically, guys, in workplace. You don't have to do anything. But you could if you wanted to. And the feelings, having a bad day. Is it Angelica? Did I answer that question?
Yeah, you talked about in the moment when you feel it that morning, you can express it and that's what you're saying.
You just inspired something in me. Sometimes we do have to put a mask on at work because it's not a safe space. But what's important is when you get home to acknowledge that that wasn't okay for you. So you say to yourself, you know what? It's okay. I understand that where I am right now is in a space where I can't express my opinion. That's okay for now. But what the person said was not okay. And I'm giving myself the power, I'm giving myself the awareness, and asking yourself, is it possible for me to do this in any other way in the future? If not, because literally the world is the world. Sometimes you have to be in this box because of the world, the way that it is. Even if you have to do that, you are choosing to do that in awareness that this is your choice. They are not forcing you to do it. You are choosing it. And that's where the power is. Yes?
Yeah, challenge. sounds a bit like everything that is primitive and impulsive is good. But I would say that we get educated and that we get taught about values to be better than to be better and to make ourselves better. So, but you seem to present it a little bit like take everything that you ever learned away and use that. Whereas I would say you have like a little seed and you let it grow by all the things that you've learned. And you make a distinction between the two of them, saying, well, you first live like impulsively and then you decide on the boxes. But I think it's so negative to talk about, and it seems so everything about the individual is okay, but you're not living as like one person in the world. So I think that's how do you combine these both?
It's a great question, isn't it? So let's think about that question. I believe my perception, my story, which isn't the truth. It's just my interpretation. And even what's ironic about what I'm sharing is my box in a way, isn't it? Let's be honest. And that's the power, as well as, I'm going to go back to your question, is I always say to people, if something feels light in your body, then it is in alignment with your core. If something feels heavy, then you're thinking, yeah, I'm not quite resonating with what you're saying. That feels light. I'm going to take that today. Nah, not so much. Then don't take it, because it's you. It's like you were saying. Sorry, what's your name? Jessica. It's like you're saying is, what I believe is that spark of who you are, that soul, is trying to learn who it truly is and express itself as who it truly is in amongst society. And when things feel light, it is an expression of who it should be, or should be, who it could be, who it wants to be. And if something feels heavy, then that's not potentially something that they want to be. And yes, I think values are views that have been imparted on us by society. And this is a great philosophical question. So this is where I'll leave you guys and you can talk about it. A great philosophical question, because yes, I believe that at the core, every person is good and there's nothing to improve or to change. And to teach people values, no matter what culture you come from. We were talking about cultures and how every culture has different boxes of values and what's important to be as a man, as a woman, as a professional. What is authenticity? Would be a different box in different cultures. So yes, what your belief of core values is partly an expression of the mind. But yes, it is also an expression of your truth. And it's the awareness of where is this core value coming from. I believe that the only core value that's important is that of love. Loving yourself and loving other people and expressing that flow of love and that connection of oneness. Some people say to me, oh, so a murderer, you're saying that someone who murders and does all these bad things is okay. That's basically what you're saying, Connie, isn't it? And I said to them, yes. The spark of light that they were born is perfect, whole and complete. But society, for whatever reason, has created a defensive personality where they are expressing themselves in a way that is not okay. That's why I said to you guys, sometimes the way people treat you is not okay, and you need to, if it is in your comfort, to say, that's not okay for me. That's not okay for me. murdering in this country, or in this world, is not okay. Because it purposefully, I believe that unless it purposefully doesn't harm anyone else, you're doing the best that you know how. But if you purposefully try and harm someone, then you're stepping out of the oneness of love and connection that we all have with everyone. So, kind of answers your question, but not really. Give me a follow-up question.
What she means is you can't be authentic in a vacuum. Like you can't.
Yes.
I think what she means, if I understood correctly, is that you can't be, if you're in a cave on your own, you have nothing to not compare, but to interact with. So you're in a vacuum. So if you start interacting with people, they might say do this or don't do that. But you might not agree, but at least you're starting to build. I like this, I don't like this, I like this. It's like if you're in the dark, and if you don't touch anything, you don't know where you are. But if you start touching the things, some things are slimy and some things are nice, and then you can. I think that's what you meant. It's just, out of everything, you can't define yourself.
Well, yes,
human.
Partly, but I believe that you believe in the value of education. I believe in the value of people sharing their experiences and to learn about that. And I also believe in the fact that that makes people more beautiful. And so that's why I say, well, I can pull up all these layers. But if I say I throw away everything that I've learned, where I'm okay. So I think there's a distinction between using this as a source, but you have to combine it with the rest and to see what it all comes together with. But then saying, okay, take up everything that feels light. That sounds so easy. Because if I would say that to my 8-year-old boy, he will know what to pick. So I'm super interested in what you say, and I also feel that it's right.
Yeah.
But I'm still struggling to say, okay, if I would peel up everything, I would feel that I would have thrown away too much. But I would need to see it in connection with the rest, and to see how that little spark can be brighter with the rest, and not more darker.
You're saying what a lot of us feel on a very deep level. So really great. Thank you for saying that, because it clarifies things for everyone. It's like Alexia was saying is, again, my story is that we're a spiritual being having a human experience. And I know I'm very spiritual, but I really believe that, okay, I believe in reincarnation, guys. All right, sit down. And I believe that what we do in every lifetime is we learn more and more about who we are. Until one day, we are just a reminder of who we were, who the truth of who we are is just this divine light of love that one day, goes back to heaven, goes back to God, goes back to source, whatever you believe. I don't have a box for that right now. It's like the Dalai Lama. When I saw him in Strasbourg the couple of months ago, those of you who might have been there, it says there's no difference between you and I. I believe that the Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, all those higher beings have just lived more lives, so they're more in tune, more training. Yeah, they trained more. And he said there's only one difference. He says, I'm human, just like you. I have the same thoughts. I have the same emotions. I have the same feelings. But all I do is I don't give the thoughts and the emotions power. They come in, and he just releases them, and he comes back to what is important to me in this moment. What's important to me in this moment is education. Great. Because that is authentically what's important to you in this moment. It might not be for everyone, but to you, that is important. I'm still human and I have some core values that people may not agree with, which is why it's been such a clash for me living in France, because my core values are quite different. So it's been that dichotomy between the soul and the mind and the values and stuff. But that's okay, because you said it beautifully. We learn through our experiences who we are, and the power is in the now, not the past, not the future. Okay, I've listened to your talk, Connie. I'm taking that. And this is what I'm choosing to take with me, that I resonate with. The rest I don't. And that is your authenticity. Yeah? Should we end there? Come have a chat with me. I'd love to talk to you afterwards. I love conversations where we call them thunks. T-H-U-N-K. Have you heard of that word before? T-H-U-N-K. You've heard of it? Thunk. And it's when your brain goes, thunk. Well, how do I answer this question? Thunk. And then you have to think about how that person's question relates to you, not from the mind, but from the soul. And that's why we have people in our lives, so that we can learn from them. So thank you for your questions. Thank you for helping me expand a little bit more from this talk. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much.